Okay, and we're live. So today, first of all, I'm Dame Lillian Walker, and welcome to this broadcast. And I'm so excited to share with you this recording of Dusty's grandmother. So give me a moment, and I will share that recording with you right now. Okay, Julie, go ahead. Tell me your update with your person.
So she is, I believe she's around 85, and it's my friend Dusty's grandma. She has been in chronic pain for at least 35, 40 years. And yeah, I guess she slipped on a banana peel when she was younger. I think she was a teacher or something. And ever since then, she's had back surgeries. And I don't know if the back surgery did something to where it ended up, she has neuropathy really bad in her feet now. And she has been in, when she says pain, like she describes it as like a 13. It's that bad. She'll call my friend like in the middle of the night crying, saying she doesn't know if she can go on. The pain's so bad. And Dusty and her husband will go over and she's just like rocking herself back and forth in pain. And so it's severe. It's very severe. And she has had zero pain with the ice wave patches. Zero.
Oh my gosh.
And she has not had this ever. She said she's done acupuncture. She goes to some doctor that will like work on special, concoctions to try and help her out. And it works for a little bit. She said it just kind of takes away the pain a little bit. It's never completely gone. It just kind of masks and barely takes away the edge. And this has been completely different for her. So she is just in complete awe.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So there you have it, my friends and gems. Just wanted you to hear. This was just yesterday that I got this testimonial. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to share it with you guys so that you can hear about how this is actually possible. So let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit more about this. Victoria, thank you for joining us today. Carol, thank you for joining. And let me share. Oh, nope, it opened the wrong one. Opening the research studies instead of the. Okay, here we go. So we're going to be talking about the Fantastic Five. And as you know, Dusty's grandmother for the first time in 30 or 40 years, poor lady, suffered so much for so long. And now she's finally getting relief as a direct result of using this tiny little technology. Wafer thin, as you can see, it's about the size of a quarter. And she just wore these patches and it took the pain away. And how is that possible? So we're going to talk briefly about the Fantastic Five. We're going to jump into what these patches are, how they work, what they do, how they work. And first, before we do that, we're going to talk about our little disclaimer in order for us to keep compliant. These patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease because we do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer protocols. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. There are no medical claims being made here with the suggestions herein. These are made in FDA registered facilities. They're not FDA approved. The FDA only approves food and drugs. These are neither. Just as wheelchairs and crutches are not foods or drugs, and they're not FDA approved, those are made in FDA registered facilities as well. And these are FDA compliant class 1 medical devices. So let's get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty about this cellular activation patch. And let's talk about, I'm going to go ahead and skip over to the bottom line here. You've already heard one of the testimonials and you're probably wondering, okay, what is this all about? So I'm going to jump over here and share with you what the mother cell activation patch does. And this patch is called the X39. And if you see here, you'll see that I'm wearing one here, one on my chest. These are able to reset a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state. So it's actually going to turn on a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state. When you're born, you have 100% of your genes and stem cells that are activated when your mother's ovum and your father's sperm unite. You have complete information to the tune of 23,688 genes and stem cells. And now you have complete information. And at that moment of conception, there's literally a burst of light that activates that union. And then that immediate cellular repair is as a direct result of 100% of your stem cells. And then you start to form into an embryo because those construction workers are all creating you because it has 100% of your blueprint. And 50% of those turn off by the time you're just 30 years old. And by the time you're 60 years old, 90% have been retired. They haven't disappeared. They're not damaged or destroyed. They've simply gone dormant. And now the 10% that are remaining are going to take you to the finish line from the time you're 60 until you're 70, 80, 90, 100, 105, 110, however old you are when you are no longer with us. So this little device is the on switch to turn those back on. It regenerates the cells, replacing damaged cells. Before I go any further, the short answer as to what this does is it turns back on your original blueprint, master builders that have all your information, and it repairs, restores everything head to toe. And then we have the ice wave patch, which doesn't repair anything. You can see it's wafer thin as well. There's a tan one and a white one. Tan on left, white on right. And wherever you point to the pain and you patch it with this mother cell activation patch, wherever your pain point is, and then to the left of it, you put the tan patch, and to the right of it, you put the white patch, just 3 finger widths over. We do patch placement with everyone who gets started who would like that. So you don't have to worry about where to put them and stuff. We can help you with that. For those of you who actually like more nitty-gritty details of exactly what's going on, well, here's the bullet points that tell you what it is that it's actually doing based on the scientific research that has been done. We have over 90 scientific studies that have been done in the United States, Europe, the UK, as well as Asia. They're scientific, peer-reviewed, double-blind placebo studies, which is the highest authority anywhere on the planet. And we're also approved where we have 120 global patents for the suite of 11 patches that we have. And that means that those 120 global patents have been approved in 82 countries, which is no small feat. You can only imagine the red tape that they had to jump through and the expense to have 82 separate governments approve 120 patents. It's a big deal. So this tells you what the mother cell activation patch does. Now, the one thing I will tell you is that it's super, super, super important to drink water while you're, even if you decide not to do the patches. The patches are something that, you know, everybody has free will. You have a choice. Some people prefer to not do surgery, not do medicines. They'd rather do something organic and holistic. If that resonates with you, then you're at the right place at the right time with the right people. Other people are, you know, they'll try whatever will work to relieve them from pain. And if they cannot just get pain relief, but they can actually go to the root cause and fix it, then they'll say, sign me up for that. If that resonates with you, well, guess what? We can do both and, because one of these repairs and regenerates while this little patch turns off pain receptors so your body relaxes and the repair can happen more quickly. It's a 2-patch energy system. One has a negative charge, one has a positive charge. And by moving the energy through, pulling and pushing of energy through the body, it turns off the pain receptors, which is why people experience a 50 to 100% reduction in pain. Super important to know that you have to hydrate yourself because your DNA is 92% water and 8% other. And if you're properly hydrated, that's fantastic because everything will work properly because we're primarily about 70% water. The average 60-year-old is about 55% water. Babies are the highest percentage of water. They're about 80% plus water. They come out of that mother's womb where they were swimming in water prior to birth. They come out kind of juicy, right? But as we age, we get more and more dehydrated, and it's super important to drink 50% your weight in ounces of water, because when you don't hydrate properly, things in your body shrink like a prune. What happens to a plum that gets dehydrated? It turns into a raisin. Same thing happens to us. So your brain shrinks and organs shrink, and you have cells that shrink, and you have dysregulation that starts to occur in the body. 2% dehydration, you feel parched in your mouth. And on the left here, we have somebody's DNA who is properly hydrated. They're drinking 50% their weight in ounces of water. Their DNA is standing tall, straight, erect, preserving that beautiful figure 8 helix structure as it should. So it's working properly. And when you go to 8% dehydration, just 8% dehydration, your DNA, not only does your brain shrink, not only do other organs in your body start to shrink, not only do your proteins fold in half, where that's the beginning of a lot of dysregulation in your body, but at 8% dehydration, your DNA unravels. It literally starts to fall apart and it starts to unravel. At 10% dehydration, you can't have a thought. You lose your mind. You can't have a thought because your brain has shrunk so much. It's like cement in there. The nerves don't have the water, the electrical conductivity to send signals to transmit a thought throughout the brain. 12% dehydration, boom, boom, boom. Bad news, you're dead. Everything shuts down. They send you to the morgue. So, super important to keep hydrated. Most people don't drink enough water, and a lot of people have headaches that could be solved just from increasing their water intake. And as you start to move towards drinking 50% your weight in fluid ounces, you'll find that you'll feel better. Well, with the patches, as you're signaling your body to create more, turn back on new stem cells and create new ones over time, if you're dehydrated, your stem cells can't get to where they need to go because they're hitting quicksand. So those new stem cells are created, but they're sticking to each other. Instead of them going down your bloodstream and getting to where they need to go, they start to clump together and stick and stick and stick until you have enough water where your blood isn't so thick, and now it can get to where it needs to go. So super important to drink water. So I want to ask Victoria, might you have any questions before we go on? We've got about 12 minutes left here, and I want to make sure that I answer any questions that you might have. Any questions? Okay, Victoria, I don't think I can ask you to turn your camera on. I know you're unmuted. So if there are no other questions, I'm just going to share real briefly some testimonials here that will kind of shed light a little bit more on this. And I'm going to briefly touch upon the Fantastic Five. We talked about the mother cell activation patch. You saw the bullet points. If you're interested in my texting you the bullet points, just text me at 949-478-2221. And I can send you the bullet points on these so that you have the bullet points of the Fantastic Five. I believe that once you understand and can ascribe a meaning to what it is that you're doing, you're more encouraged to do those things that are of your benefit because you realized, oh, I need to put the 39, the 49, the glutathione, the carnosine, and the eon, because I understand what those things are doing to benefit my body. It's taking care of the primary systems of my body. Does that make sense? Start to make a lot more sense, doesn't it? And I'll put Ice Wave on because I understand that turns off my pain receptors. So let's go on to the daughter cell activation patch, because the first one is the mother cell activation patch. The next one is the daughter cell activation patch. And this is based on taken from the research studies for this patch. Those research studies show that this increases lean muscle mass. And let us not forget, let's remember here that one of the key things that this does, part of your natural blueprint, is you have some natural radiation poisoning relief that's inherent to your cellular structure. Why? Form follows function. In nature, we have parts of the world where we have naturally occurring radiation. So humans, mammals, we have certain protective mechanisms against those radiation sources. However, we live in now it's 2025. So we're in the modern age of technology where we have a lot of man-made radiation. So this desktop, laptop, iPad, notepad, cell phones, they all have blue light toxicity. Many people don't know that blue light toxicity that you get from your desktop, from your cell phones. Every time you're in front of a desktop, laptop, iPad, notepad, or a cell phone, you are getting three things that are happening to you right off the bat that are not to your benefit. One is it breaks your DHEA fountain of youth hormone. I don't know about you, but I don't want my DHEA fountain of youth hormone. Luckily for Carol and I, we're on these patches, so we have something to offset it. But it breaks your DHEA fountain of youth hormone. It increases insulin resistance. I can think of several types of type 1, type 2, and type 3 conditions that are tied to insulin resistance, and it causes a glucose spike. That's right, your light environment, blue light toxicity coming from those devices, LED lights, fluorescent lights, and halogen lights are other three culprits, which pretty much you can't get away from it in this day and age. Every home, my home doesn't, I have incandescent bulbs, red incandescent bulbs, instead of LED lights, because I understand that incandescent gives you infrared light, whether it's a clear bulb or a red bulb. So I have 4 red, 2 clear, and this one's clear also. But I can't get away from the LED lights that I have from my refrigerator, my hot water pot, my Ninja, my microwave, which I don't use. I use that just as a storage, believe it or not, because I don't want anything nuked or radiated. My stove has LED lights. Pretty much everywhere you go, any store, any business, they all have fluorescent lights, halogen lights, LED lights. Can't get away from it. Every plane, every train, every catamaran, every yacht, every boat, every cruise liner, they're all full of LED lights. So I'm constantly having my DHEA fountain of youth hormone messed with, as well as glucose and insulin dysregulation. Guess what? This is going to unring the bell of those things. So let's talk about the 3 master antioxidants. And Victoria, if at any point in time, because we only have here about 7 minutes left, if you have any questions about these things, please do. You're already unmuted, so you can just let me know and I can answer your question. So the next 3 that would complete the Fantastic 5, we talked about 39, 49, and now we're going to talk about glutathione, carnosine, and eon. Glutathione is the gladiator. It's the master antioxidant detoxifier. It's going to boost your immune system. It's also going to, the research studies show that this detoxifier immune booster boosts your glutathione levels 300 to 600% within 24 hours of you first wearing this patch. So if you, once you start on the Fantastic 5 this morning, let's say you started at 9 a.m., by tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., let's say your glutathione levels were down to 5%, and you needed to go up 333% to be back at where you were when you were a child, because that's your original blueprint, or back to where you were when you were at conception, then your glutathione levels will jump 333% to be at that adequate amount within 24 hours. By tomorrow at 9 a.m., you're going to have that increased immune system. Boy, wouldn't have that been helpful for you during the pandemic? Absolutely, right? To detoxify, to immune boost yourself. This is it's going to help with antivirals. It's a radio protector against DNA damage. I want you to think about this. DNA is an amplifier of energy. And now that you know that your DNA is 92% water, it makes sense. So since your DNA is 92% water, it's a great conductor of energy, of electricity, of light. And now your glutathione levels are going to protect against any kind of DNA damage, which kind of full circle brings back how important it is to keep hydrated so your DNA is not compromised, as we showed in that slide before. Glutathione is going to help improve your skin appearance. It helps bring down pain levels, is what the research shows, because it helps grow the nerves throughout the whole body. Also very important for eye health, brain health, anything neurological going on in the body, glutathione. Oftentimes, having a low or no glutathione levels in the body is why you have the presentation of certain neurological conditions in the body. Okay. It also will help because it's tied to your nervous system. It's going to help promote relaxation and reduce stress. We've got here a couple minutes left. I'm just going to show you the research study. And I'm just going to point to this because you can always come back to me if you have any questions or get back to the person who referred you to this video and you can learn more or ask more questions. We have a Tuesdays at 5 o'clock Zoom with Dr. Stacy. She's the head of our group. And every Tuesday, for the most part, she interviews doctors and holistic care practitioners. But this particular research paper points to several organs that had a significant improvement in just 12 hours of use of these patches over 4 weeks. And you can see here, stated differently, all organs achieve significant cellular, physiologic, functional status improvement compared to a baseline with a statistical power of 91%. Not many things, I don't know of anything actually, that gives you a 91% improvement for all these organs: pancreas, liver, gallbladder, intestines, left and right adrenals, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and a significant improvement in the pancreas. Something to think about, wouldn't you agree? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's glutathione, the third one. The fourth one is carnosine. That supports anything related to your cardiovascular system. All things related to heart and muscle, your cardiovascular system, memory, focus, brain processing speed, brain function. Very huge. Detoxes your brain from aluminum. Carnosine is a phenomenal antioxidant. It also really helps with wound restoration. Very powerful master antioxidant. Remember to drink your water. And then Eon. So you can start to see, you're starting to get a picture how everything is not just one thing or two things are being addressed, but by wearing the Fantastic Five, you're taking care of a great majority of all the systems, the majority of the systems of the body by signaling them with these medical devices. And this Eon patch, also a master antioxidant, it's going to manage your inflammation. We call this the happy patch because it's an anti-stress. People literally I've had people sit in dentist offices that were kind of panic-stricken because they get panicked anytime they're going to either have their teeth cleaned or anytime they're going to have a procedure done. And literally within anywhere from 30 seconds to no more than 10 minutes, they're calmed down as soon as they're patched. Their anxiety goes down. They get relaxed. Those who have had high blood pressure, who would otherwise need to be rescheduled, because if you already have high blood pressure, they can't do a procedure on you because that'll make your blood pressure go even higher. And that's super dangerous. So usually they have to turn you back and then you have to reschedule. But now, naturally, organically, holistically, without any drugs, without any side effects, your body can be signaled to relax, manage the inflammation, and bring the left and the right brain hemisphere into balance, creating a calming effect, reducing your cortisol and C-reactive proteins. How much better can it get? For the price of a cup of coffee, each patch is the price of a cup of coffee retail. And we can get you started on the Fantastic Five for the price of 2 cups of coffee a day. It's really quite affordable compared to traditional Stem cell therapies that are out there by IV, by injection, that run anywhere from $8,000 to up to $30,000 a session. So Victoria, we have about 1 minute left. Do you have any questions at this time? Okay, I think Victoria, perhaps her audio may not be working. I hope you can hear this, Victoria. I'm going to put here in the chat for those of you watching, whether you're watching live on YouTube or if you are watching this replay. But our hotline, this is the hotline to learn more about cell activation patches. Okay, so I'll put it right there in the chat. All right, my friends and gems, it's 2:31 p.m., the bottom of the hour. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in, turning on to this edition. Carol, as always, it's always great to see you and hear from you. I will call you after this broadcast. Victoria, get back to the person who referred you. If I can help you, let me know. You've got my number now. And ciao for now, my friends and gems.